الحمد لله رب العالمين له الحمد الحسن والثناء الجميل وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له يقول الحق وهو يهدي السبيل وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ودين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما ينفعنا ولا تجعل فيما علمتنا وبالا علينا. Inshallah ta'ala, we're going to revise and go over again the kitab Al-Ajrumiyyah and Al-Ajrumiyyah. Some students, they asked for revision, and inshallah ta'ala, we're going to do the revision again that we did last Friday morning, and that was of Al-I'rab, Babu Al-I'rab. Okay, Babu Al-I'rab. So inshallah ta'ala, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you all, inshallah ta'ala. I'm going to share my screen with you. Bear with me, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. Can you all see the screen? You can all see, right? Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Okay. The explanation I'm going to be using, inshallah ta'ala, is none other than the famous explanation. It's called At-Tuhfatu Saniyah بشرح المقدمة الأجرومية. So this is the explanation I'm going to be using, and this is the publication I'm using, inshallah ta'ala. You can download it online off the internet. That's the one I'm going to be using, inshallah ta'ala. I'm going to start from the chapter of Al-I'rab. So that's where we're going to start from today, inshallah ta'ala. The chapter is, as you can see, it starts from here. Sorry, it starts from, bear with me, sorry. It starts from here, Babu Al-I'rab. So I've already written notes on it from last lesson. So inshallah ta'ala, I'm just going to recap it for you all, inshallah ta'ala. So okay, sorry. So inshallah ta'ala, we're going to be starting the chapter of Al-I'rab. We're going to be starting the chapter of Al-I'rab. So the I'rab, in order to understand it, we have to look at it from a linguistical perspective. So as you can see at the top, Al-I'rabu lughatan, and also Al-I'rabu istilahan. What does Al-I'rab mean linguistically, and what does I'rab mean technically? We need to look at it from those two perspectives, inshallah ta'ala. So what does I'rab mean linguistically? Here it is. I'm using the sharah of Muhammad, which is a sharah of Muqaddimat al-Ajrumiyyah. It's the most common one, the most famous one. That's the one I'm using. And as you can see, it looks like this. So can everybody see? Okay, this is the explanation I'm using. Can everybody see?
No,
okay. No. Alhamdulillah. So, and I'm on page 19, inshallah ta'ala. If you want to look at the sharah and you want to download it, you can as a PDF. And I scribbled on it last week. So I'm just going to cover it and explain to all of you what is written there, inshallah ta'ala. So Al-I'rab, in order to understand Babu Al-I'rab, you have to understand what it means in the Arabic language. Al-I'rabu, when we look at it from the linguistic usage, lughatan, what it means as the author, Muhammad Muhyiddin, the sharih of the kitab, the explainer of the kitab, said, it means al-idharu wal-ibana, which means the same. It is to make something clear. It is to make something apparent. Okay, that's what it means in the Arabic language originally. The word al-i'rab, originally in the Arabic language, it means al-idharu wal-ibana. It means to make something clear and apparent. And then he gave an example. He said, تقول, the Arabs, they say, أعربت عما في نفسي إذا أبنته وأظهرته. أعربت عما في نفسي means, it means أظهرت عما في نفسي. I have made clear what was inside me. Everything that I felt, I let it out. I told you what I feel. I've made it clear what was inside. That's what it means in the Arabic language. Does everybody understand?
No.
We're all on the same page. Alhamdulillah. That's not the only usage that it has in the Arabic language. There's also another usage, which is taghyir, to change. Also, the word al-i'rab has another usage in the Arabic language, which is al-taghyir, to change. It also has that meaning. And both meanings apply on i'rab technically. What do I mean by that? I'rab linguistically means what? Al-idhar wal-ibana. It also, remember, the word Arabs used to use this word before grammar was written. Before grammar was written. Grammar was written at the time of Ali ibn Abi Talib. I already explained this in my introduction on the Arabic grammar. If you go online on YouTube, you can see it there. Ali ibn Abi Talib told Abi Aswad al-Du'ali to write Arabic grammar. That's when it was first written. So before that, what was this word? I'rab. So why did they choose, the Arab grammarians, why did they choose to use i'rab as a grammatical analysis? Why? We need to know that, right? Is that not the case? But you want to know why they chose this word, al-i'rab, to be grammatical analysis. The reason why they did is because the linguistic usage of the word al-i'rab means to make something clear and apparent. And in grammatical analysis, you make something clear and apparent. Does that make sense now? Does that make sense? I need people to be engaged with me. So yes, no, yes. So before I move on to a point, because I know the connection is still on. I know you're all engaged with me, inshallah ta'ala. We're together on the same page. So that's why they use the word al-ibana wal-idhar. The i'rab, it means to make something clear, to make something apparent. That's why they borrowed that word from it. Some scholars, they said no. The word al-i'rab originally in the Arabic language, before grammar came, it was at-taghyir, change. Change. That's what it was. Okay? It was change. Changing something. And they said that's what it means. And the Arabs used to use it in that way, because it's used in that way. And they said that's the most applicable definition for the technical usage. Because when a person grammatically looks at a word that keeps changing in one sentence to another, what's taking place is changes. So that's why the grammarians borrowed that word, the Arab, and used it as a term in grammar. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, very good. What does i'rab mean technically now? What does it mean technically? I'rab means technically 4 things. So you just have to know these 4 things. I'rab means technically 4 points, 4 things you need to remember. It means, number 1, it means تغيير أواخر الكلم. It means the changing that happened at the ending of the word. The changing that happens at the end of the word. So now what I'm going to do, inshallah ta'ala, brothers and sisters, is I'm going to change the screen to sharing my screen, as I'm going to change it to a whiteboard, inshallah ta'ala, so I can write on there. Okay? So, Can everybody see the whiteboard? So al-i'rab,
Yes.
we took what it means lughatan, linguistically. We took what it means linguistically, correct? We took what it means linguistically. What does it mean linguistically? The word al-i'rab linguistically, it means al-idhar. It means to make something clear, wal-ibana, right? Okay, that's what it means, right? To make something clear and apparent. But what does it mean istilahan, the word al-i'rab? What does it mean istilahan? What does it mean technically? So I said it means 4 things technically. 4 things. Once we understand these 4 points, we understand it. The first one is taghyir. أواخر الكلمة. تغيير أواخر الكلمة. Okay, which means the changing that happens at the ending of the word. I'm going to come to that inshallah ta'ala. Okay, I just want to explain each of those 4, and then we're going to go into what each one means in details inshallah ta'ala. The second one is لاختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها. The third one is لفظا, and the 4th one is تقديرا. Does that make sense? Let's go through the first one, the first point, which is changing that happens at the ending of the word. What does that mean? I'm going to give you an example, inshallah ta'ala. Let's focus on the word Muhammad. Let's look at the word Muhammad here, okay? We see the word ja'a, Muhammadun, Muhammad. Then you say رأيت محمدا. And then you say مررت بمحمد. بمحمد. So look at the differences that is happening here. The first time it's Muhammadun, the second time it's Muhammadan, and the third one is Muhammadin. Does everybody see what's happening to the word Muhammad? It's changing at the ending. So that's the first point. I'rab means looking at the ending of the word. They don't care about the middle of the word. They don't care about the beginning of the word. They focus on the ending of the word. And the word we're talking about here is Muhammad only. We're just going to focus on Muhammad. Okay? So when we look at Muhammad the first time, Muhammad is a fa'il, which in English translates as subject. In the second situation, Muhammad is a maf'ulun bihi, which translates loosely in English as an object. And here, bi Muhammadin is a ism majroor. We'll come to what that means in English later, inshallah ta'ala. So in 3 situations, Muhammad is changing. It's the same word, but it's changing in each situation. That's the first point of grammar. I'rab. I'rab focuses at the ending of the word. So we don't look at why is it dhamma at the beginning, why is it a fatha on the ha, why there's a fatha on the meme. Okay, we don't look at that in grammar. We only focus on the ending of the word. Okay, keep remembering that. That's point number one. Grammar only focuses on تغيير أواخر الكلم يعني أحوال أواخر الكلم. It focuses on the ending of the word. Does that make sense, everybody?
No.
What I've said so far makes sense, right? All the other information that you haven't understood in details, don't worry, it's all going to come. But what I said so far, is it clear? Okay. So now I'm going to go to another page, new whiteboard. And I'm going to mention the second of the 4. And the second point was لاختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها. Fatima said, I don't understand. What is it you don't understand? Fatima, you said, I don't understand. What is it that you don't understand? All of it, as in all of what? All of the Arab, all of the, you have to be very specific. Okay, today's your first day in this class. Did you start the class when we first started? Yani, did you start the class when we started today? As in, did you come late to the class? So maybe that's why, if you stay a little bit, inshallah ta'ala, it will become more clear for you, okay? If you just stay a little bit, it will become a bit more clearer for you, inshallah ta'ala. It is the first dars. It is the first class. It is the first lesson, inshallah ta'ala. And this is where the whole kitab matters, that the person understands. It will become more clear. Be a bit patient. I've seen people come into these classes and other classes that I've done of this kitab at other places, and they felt like they couldn't understand it. But you have to understand it takes time, it's grammar, it requires time, and it requires patience and endurance, inshallah ta'ala. But it also does matter your level of the Arabic language as well, okay? Especially if you're not used to this style of study, to just hearing everything written in English. So then you have 2 problems now. You have to face the style of teaching, which is everything's written in Arabic, and the second, which is the lesson being a bit complicated and hard maybe at the beginning. But it requires patience, inshallah ta'ala, and endurance, okay? So don't give up, and try your best, inshallah ta'ala, to persevere, inshallah ta'ala. There's a Telegram channel where all of the classes will be updated and informed and how it is and everything, inshallah ta'ala. It will be there. All of this will be put there. You can all watch it again and again and again. You have 7 days of the week, 6 days, you can go over it again and again and again and again before you come to the next class. And if you don't understand, you can always ask the other students, inshallah ta'ala, explain it to you. Sometimes, honestly speaking, the students might be more better in explaining a class than the teacher himself. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes the students are very good. So I'm only repeating what I taught last week. I taught this class last week, but some students requested for me to repeat it for them one more time. So here I am, I'm repeating it, and it will be recorded this time, inshallah ta'ala, so that they can cover it and study and benefit, inshallah, okay? So the second meaning of al-i'rab, I said it's لاختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها. Okay? By the way, the book Ajrumiyyah, you should have all had the English version and the Arabic version PDF that was given to the students. So we did the first part, which is تغيير أواخر الكلم. Now I'm going to mention لاختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها. Okay, for now, let's focus inshallah ta'ala. لاختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها. Why is it changing? This is the point that needs to be focused on. Why is it changing? What's the reason why we're seeing changes happening to the ending of Muhammad, for example? Why is it becoming Muhammadan? Why is it becoming Muhammadun? Why is it becoming Muhammadin? What was the reason? If you look back, I already kind of mentioned it for you. The reason is because in this situation, the reason for it is because Muhammad is a what? He's a subject. Muhammad is a subject here. So here he is, he's a subject. That's why he's Muhammadun. That's the awamil. Awamil means agent. Muhammad here to become a Muhammadun. It's an agent forcing it. And that agent is what? It is the fi'l before it. If a fi'l comes, there always has to be a fa'il. Meaning if a verb comes, there always has to be a subject. So the reason why it's Muhammadun is because it's a subject, and what forced it to become Muhammadun is the verb before it. Good. Here, it's maf'ulun bihi. So again, it changed due to the agent. Why? Because Muhammad here is not the one who's doing the action, but it's the one that the action is being done to. He's the object here, Muhammad. Okay, he's the object, and so that's why he is now a fatha, or he is Muhammadan, because of the changing that's happening to the agent. In the beginning, he was a subject. The second situation is an object, and the third situation is that before it is a ba. This ba is forcing Muhammad to become Muhammadin. Muhammadin. So it's forcing it to become Muhammadin. Okay? Does that make sense? And the more, inshallah ta'ala, we study the whole entire class, the more we study, we're going to learn all of these agents. We're going to learn all of these agents in the future. Don't worry. Ism majroor is going to come to you. What is a fa'il in details is going to come. What is a maf'ulun bi? It's going to come. We haven't taken all of that yet. All we've taken so far is that these are the things that are making it change. Khalas, that's all you need to know for now. Okay? You just need to know it's a subject here. Now, what is a subject? How does it work? How can you identify what a subject is or not? We'll come to that. Muhammadan is an object here. It's a maf'ulun bi. How do we know what's a maf'ulun bi? How does a maf'ul? It's going to come. The book is going to bring all of that for you. And ism majroor, and how does it work? We're going to come to all of that, inshallah. Okay? All I just want you to know is that all of these are changing because of agents that are imposing on it to change. That's why Muhammad is changing. That's the second point of the definition of i'rab. The first one was the changing that happens in the ending of the word, and the second one was the changing is happening because of agents, external factors that are forcing the word to change. And that's what you study in the chapter of al-i'rab. What is it that's forcing this word to change from Muhammadun to Muhammadan to Muhammadin? Okay, these are awamil. They're called awamil, which are agents. Okay, brothers and sisters. Are you all with me? Are we all on the same page? I really want to put down one important rule, please. All of you understand this. Don't expect to understand everything I say 100% the first time. If you understand it more than 50%, I'm happy. That's all I need. If you've understood it 55%, that's all I need. We're building up on it. Every class we take, it makes it clear. It will make clear to you this class and the class before it. Okay? So what does awamil mean? You didn't explain awamil to us in great details. All of that is going to come. Okay? But you didn't tell us what a fa'il is. There's a whole chapter on fa'il that the book has. We're going to take that, inshallah, there. But you didn't tell us what a maf'ulun bi. Don't worry, maf'ulun bi is going to come as well. There's a whole chapter on it as well. But ism majroor, don't worry, there's a whole chapter on it where the author, rahimahullah, talks about the majrurat. Okay? So don't worry, inshallah ta'ala. We're going to come to each one and study in great details. All I want to now do is just give you a overall of the definition of the word al-i'rab, okay? Is that making sense? Now, brothers and sisters, the changing that's happening to the word. So again, I repeat. So I mentioned the second reason was الاختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها. صح? That was I already mentioned that one. The third point I want to mention is lafzan, which is, brothers and sisters, I already mentioned to you, this is the third point, inshallah ta'ala, and also the fourth point, I can put them both there, inshallah ta'ala. I'm going to mention them together. The changing that happens at the word is two types. Now, these two, I'm going to mention it together. I already mentioned this one, inshallah ta'ala. I spoke about it. I spoke about the agents, right? The awamil. Lafzan and taqdeeran is what you want me to know. I'm going to say to you, i'lam anna هذا التغيير ينقسم قسمين. One, لفظي, and the second one is تقديري. These are the two, لفظي and تقديري. What did I just write? The changing, the taghyir. Remember we said Muhammad changes from Muhammad to Muhammadan in one sentence, and it can also become Muhammadian, right? I mentioned that, right? Muhammadun, Muhammadan, and that changing of Muhammad, it's explicit. It's what? It's explicit. It's explicit, meaning you can see the changes that's happening to Muhammad. Okay, am I making sense? Pay attention, pay attention with me here. Okay. Yeah. Pay attention to this. It's very important. So explicit. Explicit means what? It means that it's apparent, it's obvious. You can see, for example, Muhammadun, Muhammadan, Muhammadin. You can see it, right? The changing that's happening to it. So it's Muhammadun, Muhammadan, and Muhammadin. But let's change the word Muhammad to the word Musa. Let's change the word Musa here. Let's say Ja'a Musa. Second one is Ra'aytu Musa. Marartu bi Musa. This word Musa, has it changed? Can you see any changings that's taking place onto Musa? Can you see anything with Musa? Ajib, right? So Musa is not changing. So that's why Musa is implicit. Musa is implicit. Marartu, what does it mean, Jamil? Marartu means I came by. I walked by. So Ja'a Musa means Musa came. رأيت موسى, I saw Musa. مررت بموسى, I walked by Musa. I crossed by Musa. Okay, Musa hasn't changed. Yes, it has changed, but the changing of Musa is implicit. Okay, it's indetectable. MashaAllah, somebody mentioned that. It's indetectable. You can't detect it easily, but it has changed. Okay, it has changed. Musa is changing. Musa is what? It's changing just like Muhammad is changing. But Muhammad, it's very clear that it's changing. Muhammad is what? It's very clear that it's changing. It's apparent that it's changing. Lakin Musa isn't clear. Muhammad's clear, but Musa isn't. And that's what the third and the fourth mean. Is everybody with me? Are we all on the same page? So another example of it is al-fata, جاء al-fata. رأيت الفتى, مررت بالفتى. There are many words that are like that. Al-Qadi, al-fata means boy. Okay. Why are those letters implicit now? Now your question to me is, why is some words implicit and some are explicit and some are implicit? Any word that finishes with waw or alif or ya, which I call the naughty letters, and you can remember them as why. Why are they so naughty? Why? Waw, alif, ya. Read it together. Why? Why? When you read it together, it becomes why, right? As in like why in English? Why? So these three letters, they are the naughty letters. They're the naughty letters. And so since they are the naughty letters, what happens is whenever the word finishes with any of them three, you need to remember they are naughty letters. They become implicit and not explicit. Does everybody understand that point? We all on the same page? Okay. Okay, the last thing that we talk, the last thing that we took last lesson that I need to mention here, inshallah ta'ala, is when we look at the Arabic kalimah, kalimah. In the Arabic language, how many kalimas are there? How many words are there in the Arabic language? 3. Okay, what are they? MashaAllah. Isim, fi'il, and harf. Those are the 3, right? Number 1, isim is 3 types. Fi'il, which is number 2, it's 3 types as well. And a third one is harf, and it's 3 types. Isim is isim, which is mudhar. Isim, which is mudmar. Isim, which is mubham. I'll explain what each one means. Madi, mudari', amar. Mushtarak, مختص بالأفعال and مختص بالأسماء. Okay. What does اسم مظهر mean? What does اسم مظهر mean? It means pronouns. And how many pronouns are there? There are 3 types of pronouns, right? The 3 types of pronoun, right? Whereas متكلم, مخاطب, and غائب, right? This you're all going to take inshallah ta'ala. And the متكلم نحن. And the مخاطب is هو, هي, and anything that comes from them. And the غائب, sorry, I did a mistake. It's أنت and أنتِ. And the غائب is هو and هي and whatever comes from it. So these are the pronouns in the Arabic language, which we're going to come to again. Some of you might think, oh, this is, sorry, I did another mistake. Sorry, please. This is it's the dama'ir, it's the pronouns. Sorry, it's the mudmar. You're right. And the mudhar is the apparent. Muhammad, Rajul, and anything, Kitab. Those are ism mubham, apparent names. And then there's the mubham. The mubham are those which are ambiguous. And they are ism ishara and ism mawsul. هذا, okay, which is ism ishara, هذا, and alladhi, and anything that comes from it. Those 2 are mubham. We're going to take that in great details, inshallah ta'ala. The verbs are 3 types: past, present, and a command, which also is considered as a future. Okay, it's a future. And then we have the huruf, which is 3 types. Huruf, which is mushtarak, shared by the verb and the noun. So there are huruf that are shared by the verbs and the noun. In other words, when you mention this harf, after what can come is an ism or a fi'l. They can either, any one of them can come after it. So the word hal is mushtarak, meaning it's shared by ism and fi'l. What can fall after hal can either be an ism or a fi'l. It doesn't matter. Or the word lan, which whatever falls after it is always a fi'l. There's no ism that can come after lan. It's always a verb that comes after it. And then you have the word min, which is a harfu jar. Every time what comes after it is an ism. Those are the 3 types of huruf. Okay, those are the 3 types of huruf. Why am I mentioning all of that? The reason why I'm mentioning all of that is all of the huruf, cross them out. The huruf, they are not studied in al-i'rab, the chapter that we're in right now. We ignore huruf. As for the fi'l, which is another, sorry, I need a new one. So we're left with ism and a fi'l then. If harf, all of it is not studied in al-i'rab, we're left with ism and a fi'l. The ism, the only one that we do i'rab of is ism, which is mudhar. And the fi'l, the only one that we do i'rab of is mudari'. The rest we don't do any grammatical analysis of. We're only left with 2 now. We're left with ism, mudhar, and we're left with number 2, fi'l, mudari'. And from the fi'l mudari', 2 things come out of it, which is fi'l alladhi lam yattasil bi akhirihi shay, which we're going to see inshallah ta'ala. And the second one is inshallah ta'ala, it's af'al okay. As for the isim mudhar, there's a few things that come out of it that we're all going to see inshallah ta'ala a lot, which is mufrad, muthanna, jam'u, al-mudhakkar, al-salim, jam' al-mu'annath, al-salim, السالم جمع التكسير, and the sixth one is أسماء الخمسة. Okay, I'rab of these 6 plus these 2, those 8 is what we're going to do I'rab on. Nothing else. Am I making sense? Yeah? Those are the 8 that we do I'rab of. Okay? And all of these 8, we're going to be taking them in great details, inshallah ta'ala, in the upcoming class that we're going to be taking. We're going to take them all in details. I don't know who's annotating. Someone's annotating. I keep rubbing it off. Someone keeps writing something on it. Does everybody understand? Okay, so this was a revision class. We quickly revised what al-i'rab meant. We took that.
Sheikh, I have a question.
Okay, faddal.
Is it just these 8 always, or just for now?
It's these 8 always.
Exactly.
Yep, is for always. Yeah. Anybody else have any question?
I have another one, Sheikh.
Okay.
Do you know the example he gave, Ja'a Musa, Marartu bi Musa? Would we know whether Musa is marfu' because of the meaning of the sentence?
Not always, no, not always the case. Sometimes you're going to know the context. Of course, the meaning is always going to what's going to clarify for you who's the subject, who's the object. It's always going to explain to you who, but it's not the only factor. For example, the huruf al-jar, you have to learn what they are. The huruf al-jar, you need to memorize them and know them from memory in order to know that these are the things that are going to make the ism marfu' majroor. Does that make sense? You also need to study and memorize those which are mamnu' min as-sarf, which we're going to talk about inshallah. You need to memorize those mamnu' min as-sarf, those that don't accept kasra at the ending of the word. They don't allow it for one reason or another. You need to memorize that. Okay? Brothers and sisters, there's one thing I really want to faddal. There's one thing I really want to say, brothers and sisters. There's something I really want to say. Please, like, whenever you sense, can everybody hear me?
No, I'm sure.
One advice I want to give you all, brothers and sisters. Whenever you sense something is a bit hard and it's not easy for you, don't always take the easy way out and say, look, I can't do this. It's hard for me. I tried many times. I can't do this. I'm going to leave. Set yourself a high, like try hard, push yourself to your limits, give up. And I can reassure you that some things that you think are very hard and they're not easy and they're complicated and they might not make sense. Wallahi, I'll tell you something, brothers and sisters. It's so easy when you put your mind to it in your heart. It's so easy, so simple. It's like, is that all it was? And I'll tell you something, brothers and sisters, I generally don't like sharing too much stories. But there's one story I remember. I didn't like grammar. I never liked Arabic grammar. I was against it in a way because I felt like there are many other things I want to learn. I want to learn fiqh, I want to learn hadith, I want to learn aqidah, I want to learn other sciences. So I went to one of my teachers one day and I read on him a book. As I was reading, I read it wrong. I would make the fatha, the kasra, the fatha, dhamma, everything. So in a very polite, respectful way, the Sheikh said to me, Abdurrahman, he said to me this, and I remember it. It made me feel very, very embarrassed. But I like it. What he did for me, it was a good lesson. He said to me, Abdurrahman, do you see the circle over there? I mean, the circle over there. And I remember it so clearly. It was a circle where there were little kids, infants, little youngsters, young kids. And he told me, go to that class and sit there and inshallah ta'ala, listen. And those kids were like 8, 9. I myself was young at that time. But he said, you need to go to that class and you need to really understand Arabic grammar. You need to go to the bottom of it. And I'm not going to lie to you, it was so hard for me to turn my back from all the other sciences that I loved and go to that circle where I'm going to be studying grammar with young kids. You understand my point? And it was a good decision I made to go and study Arabic grammar, start from the beginning, make my way up and get there. Because what I realized is that, and I always used to hear this a lot from my father, whenever you go to a khutbatul Jumu'ah, and we would leave the khutbatul Jumu'ah, and it was done in the Arabic language, my father would say, did you understand what was said? And I'd say, yeah, I just did this and this and this and this, and he'd ask me questions about the khutbah. And he would always say one thing that resonated with me, I always remember it, which is, the more a person knows the Arabic language than you, the more his knowledge of the religion is stronger than yours. And the more Arabic he has over you, the more he knows the deen more than you. When that person pursues it or not, it's a different situation. But then he can go to the sources better than you can. Okay? So I want to encourage you all, inshallah ta'ala. It's important for every one of you to learn Arabic and to learn the grammar. Very important, very important. It goes into all sciences. All sciences. It goes into aqidah. It goes into fiqh. It goes into hadith. It goes into usul al-fiqh. It goes in every Islamic science. Grammar goes in. It goes into tafsir of the Quran. And the explanation of the kutub al-hadith when you're explaining it. It goes in every single place. You can't be a qari if you don't know the nahu. You can't be a qari if you don't know nahu and sarf. You can't. How can you be a qari? The different qira'at is based on the different Arabic dialects. So you need to know each one. You can't be a faqih if you don't know the Arabic language. Some would ask you questions on a mas'ala. A man said to his wife, "Talaqtuki." Is that divorce? And you say, yes, that's a lafzun sarih. How do you know what is a lafz sarih and a lafz which is kinaya? How do you know what's direct divorce and what is indirect? How do you know it? What's sarih and what's kinaya? How would you know that? It goes into aqidah. And when you look at the Jahmiyyah who negated Allah's names and attributes, they used وَكَلَّمَ اللَّهَ مُوسَى تَكْلِيمًا. So they changed Allah talking to Musa Allah talking to Musa, they changed just by the harakah, they changed it into what? Allah did not talk to Musa, but rather Musa talked to Allah. That's what they changed the ayah to. Again, Kasra and Fatha is all they changed. And then the whole entire meaning changed. And from there, they want to say Allah doesn't talk, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it goes into Aqeedah, and it goes into Hadith, and it goes into Fiqh, and it goes. So sometimes what you see is great scholars like Hassan al-Basri and others would say that when they talk about somebody's deviation, they would say, Mina Ajrumiyyah. The reason why this person deviated from the path of the Prophet and his companions is because of the ignorance of the Arabic language. You see? So I really want to encourage you all, please take time out for the Arabic language. Take time out, and then you can go to the sources yourself. You can go to it yourself. You get the sources, you get the keys, and you get direct relationship with the ulama, the people of knowledge, directly. Any people I see who stay away from learning the Arabic language and dismiss learning the Arabic language, or their teacher or someone tells them don't learn the Arabic language, I believe it's a way to keep those people blind, dumb, and deaf, so they can always remain under him. But once you learn the Arabic language, you are free. You can go out there and learn who's telling you the truth and who isn't telling you the truth, who's informing you that which is right and who isn't informing you what is right. Everything becomes clear to you once you get yourself into the Arabic language. And I've said it, inshallah ta'ala, the Arabic language is the language of every Muslim. It's the language of every Muslim. That's your first language, brothers and sisters. Your first language as a Muslim is the Arabic language. And then you can say, my, country, we speak this language, or my mother, my parents, they talk this language, but your mother tongue is Arabic, every Muslim. Whether he reverted from England and he's a white Englishman, or whether he's a Scottish man who took Islam, or he's an American who took Islam, or he's an Indian that took Islam, or he's a Somali, it does not matter. Arabic, as soon as he takes the Shahada, his first language is Arabic. Does that make sense, brothers and sisters? That's your language. This language is yours. He chose this language for you. So you learn it, you acquire this language, and then all the other languages become secondary. Okay? So inshallah ta'ala, please don't give up. Whether it be miss this class that you're doing with me or any other places that you're learning Arabic from, always give importance to learning Arabic. Yes, Kalemah will do that, inshallah ta'ala. They will send over inshallah ta'ala, the PDF and everything. They're going to send you all what you need. You just have to register, and inshallah ta'ala, get yourself into the Telegram. You see, Kalemah has a Telegram. Try to go in there and inshallah ta'ala sign up so you can see what's coming up, any classes that's been done, any revision that's done in the future. We might do more revisions like this, Allahu Alam. So bi'idhnillah al-kareem, try your best to get yourself up to date with it. So the way you can know there's revision or whatnot is by registering yourself, inshallah ta'ala. Okay.
So is there any groups we can ask questions in?
Generally, I take questions like this from the students. So if anybody has any questions related to the class, they can type it in the chat section, and I respond like that. Other than that, I don't respond in other places. Barakallahu feek.
Okay. Jazak.
Hey, anybody? Barakallahu feek. Jazakallahu khair. Anyone else have a question?
Ustad.
Yes, Faddal.
Assalamu alaikum. Can I just ask a quick question?
Faddal.
What would you advise to start someone with Nahwa or Sarf after he has the Dalik and maybe Medina books?
It's very important, brothers and sisters, to do Arabiya Bayna Yadayk or Medina books. I encourage you to do one of those two because you learn how to speak. Remember, brothers and sisters, language is divided into two: receptive skills and productive skills. Okay, receptive skills and productive skills. Productive skills, it means that you are able to speak and you're able to write. So it's SW. Speaking and writing are called productive skills. When you speak, you're producing. Language is made for production. Language isn't made to receive language. And just remember that you see a lot of people who say to you, oh, I understood what that person said back to them. So what that person is lacking is the productive skills. They're not able to speak. So when you're learning a language, you need to focus more on the productive skills, because what language is for is to communicate with somebody, right? But the receptive skills in Islam is very important, because you're going to read Islamic texts, you're going to read the Quran, you're going to read a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. So you need to have receptive skills. In other words, which listening, reading and listening are receptive skills, and speaking and writing are productive skills. You have to balance those four out when you're learning any language you're learning. You have to balance all of those four out. Make sure that your skills in each of those four is strong and it's good. Medina Al-Arabiyya Bayna Yadayk and Medina books are good when it comes to learning productive skills. I want to go to the shop and I want to buy myself milk. There's no benefit you learning Ajrumiyyah and then Lamiyatul Af'al and Qatrun Nada and you study all the Nahw books, but when you go to the shop, you can't talk to the shop owner to get milk from him, or you can't go and go to an office and speak, because all you know is grammar. Okay, no, it's of no benefit for you. So grammar from it is if you go and study Arabiyya Bayna Yadayk Medina books. And alhamdulillah, there are many explanations online you can find. There are teachers that will teach you. You can benefit those from, inshallah ta'ala, where you learn how to talk and the teacher will speak to you in Arabic and you speak back in Arabic. Once you've got vocabulary and your understanding of the sentences is good, you learn why this sentence is like this and not like this. This is where grammar comes into place. And this is when you understand grammar and you enjoy it more, inshallah ta'ala. So yes, first of all, do al-Arabic like. And then after that, go for grammar. And grammar, start with Ajrumiyyah, and then you do Mutammimatul Ajrumiyyah. Once you finish those two, you go to Qatrun Nada wa Ballu Sadr ibn Hisham al-Ansari, and then you go to Alfiyat ibn Malik. Sarf, you should try to do first of all Lamiyatul Af'al by Ibn Malik as well. You do the Shadal Arf by Al-Hamlawi, and then you go for the Alfiyat ibn Malik, which has Nahw and Sarf in it. I think you should do Nahw first, Ajrumiyyah, and then go for Sarf after that. So now when we finish Ajrumiyyah, inshallah ta'ala, our aim, inshallah ta'ala, in the future is to go through Lamiyatul Af'al, inshallah ta'ala. We do Lamiyatul Af'al, which is a Sarf book, after Ajrumiyyah, inshallah ta'ala, if Allah gives us the time and the strength.
Jazakallah khair, Ustad. Barakallah feek.
Wa feeka, barakallah feek. Some students might say, I haven't done Medina books or I haven't done Al-Arabiyya Bayna Yadayk. You can do it right now whilst you're doing these classes as well. It might help, it might benefit you, inshallah ta'ala. Barakallahu feekum, inshallah ta'ala. Could the classes be moved to a different time? Because 7:30 a.m. UAE time in the UK is around 3:30 a.m. Or perhaps it could be recorded and uploaded, inshallah ta'ala. Yeah, it will be recorded and uploaded, inshallah ta'ala. Okay? But any time changings that you need, some students do complain about the timing. It might not be fit for us in this country and in that country. It'll be hard to serve everybody. I've received messages from people in Russia asking for time to be changed, and some people, even I had a message sent to me recently by somebody from Mexico, and they said, but the time difference is very big, I need this time. So you can imagine we're catering for all of those countries at one time, which is fit for everybody, will be a bit hard. So it will definitely be recorded and it will be put on YouTube, I guess, inshallah ta'ala. And then you can all come, inshallah ta'ala, and benefit. Barakallahu feekum. May Allah bless you all. For Jannatul Firdaus.
Sheikh, I have a question. May I ask Ustad?
Tfaddal, inshallah ta'ala. I can answer it.
No, Ustad, so as you said, this is something that I have faced. Yani, I have studied like Ajrumiyyah, like in English. I've seen your explanations, and I've also studied Medina book and all, but I cannot speak. Yani, I cannot go to a shop and buy milk or anything. So would you advise me, like, because I have the knowledge of this like the grammar and the sarf as well to the basic level, should I study Arabiyatul Bayna Yadayk on my own, like go through the chapters, learn the conversations, and do you think that would be a good way?
How did you study Arabic Bayna Yadayk?
I did not study Arabiyatul Bayna Yadayk.
Did you study Medina?
I studied Medina. I studied Tamrin
Okay,
min
who did you
al-Tullab.
study
I
with
studied
Medina?
Nahwu
Did you study with a teacher or did you study off online?
I studied with the teacher from Mauritania.
So he was speaking to you in Arabic.
English. He's from America.
Ha, you see, so this is where I would say to you is try to do it with somebody who's going to teach you in the Arabic language. So when you're doing Al-Arabi Bayna Yadayk, it's called the immersion of the language. You immerse yourself into the language. Okay? You immerse yourself into the language by speaking it. You force yourself to speak it. So the teacher will listen to you talk and he'll correct you if you get anything wrong and you learn it like that. That will help you a lot. If the teacher's talking to you in English and you're talking to the teacher in English, your speaking will not enhance because you're not talking to the teacher. Inshallah.
No. So you advise me to study Arabic Bayna with a teacher instead of studying it alone on myself?
Yeah, definitely. Study with a teacher, but study with him talking to you in the Arabic language. So there's mashallah a lot of availabilities of teachers who would come on Skype or they would come on Zoom or they would come on any other platform like that. And they would from Egypt and other countries, and they will teach you and you just pay for them and they will teach you online. So, and you talk to the teacher. You have 1 hour of talking to somebody in Arabic all day for that whole entire hour. And you tell the teacher, if I'm wrong, correct me, Sheikh. And he will correct you and you learn your mistakes and you see where you're speaking wrong. This is important because you immerse yourself into the language like that and you become very strong from that perspective. Okay?
No.
Also try to write letters instead of, if you've got friends who speak Arabic language, instead of messaging them in English, try to message them in Arabic. And if they see anything wrong in you, just tell them to correct you from it. And that's how you learn.
No, because if you give me a sentence, I can do the Arab left and right, and I can do everything, but I cannot speak.
Yep, that's a lot of common problem for many people. Many people.
No.
نعم. بارك الله فيك.
جزاك الله خيرا شيخ. اللهم بارك.
جزاك الله خيرا. بارك الله فيك. Okay. Anybody have any other question?
Sheikh, I had a question regarding the Taqdiri Arab.
Okay, تفضل.
It's a bit advanced from the class we studied today, but like regarding Ya al-Mutakallim. So are there two wujuh for its Arab? Like can it be read with a fatha and with sukoon as well?
So
Kitabi
as
or
I'm,
kitabi.
نعم. So if the last letter of the word is the alif, which is lazim, is consistently, the alif is stuck to the word. It's part min binyatul kalima, it's from the structure of the word. In all of the harakat, tuqaddar. Fatha, dhamma, and kasra, tuqaddar. And they say, tuqaddaru litta'adhur. The reason why it's so, مثل الفتى والعصا والحجة, these words, for example.
لا in اشتغال المحل.
اشتغال المحل is different from نعم اشتغال المحل yes it's true yes صح you're right اشتغال المحل when you do i'rab of it you do اشتغال المحل in one of the three. So let me mention the first one and then I mention اشتغال المحل and then I mention after. So the first one is التعذر. There's an alif at the ending at the word, and this alif is min binyatul kalima, like al-fata and al-asa and al-hijja and al-raha, all these words. This is للتعذر and تقدر على جميع الحركات. The second one is if there's a ya at the ending. So for example, the word al-qadi and al-da'i and al-ghazi and al-sa'i and al-ati and al-rami, these words. This one, the dhamma and the kasra تقدر. Okay? Dhamma and kasra, you do taqdir of it. Like not fatha. And this is للثقل. Okay? The third one is the one you just asked me, which is اشتغال المحل بحركة المناسبة, which is when it is attributed to ya al-mutakallim. For example, غلامي, كتابي, صديقي, ابني, أستاذي, all of these words, when you do i'rab of it, you say منع من ظهورها اشتغال المحل بحركة المناسبة.
Yeah.
Which inshallah ta'ala, I don't want the students to become too confused with all of that. We're going to come to that in next lesson inshallah ta'ala. I'm going to go over it again.
The only reason was because in Surah An-Nuh it comes دخل بيتي مؤمنا.
Like that's what I just said to you right now. It's because the fatha is it's allowed for you to place the fatha on the if it's, what do you mean, the munasabah?
نعم in munasaba. So you can read with a fatha and without a fatha as well. Like رأيت كتابي ورأيت كتابية.
لكن بيتية is not مضاف إلى ياء المتكلم. It's not بيتي.
It
لا
isn't?
لا. بيتية مؤمنا. It's not
okay.
مضاف إلى ياء المتكلم.
صحيح.
جزاك
جزاك
الله
الله خير.
خيرا. بارك الله فيك. The student that asked if he can be excused, may Allah, you're excused inshallah ta'ala. And I'm also going to leave now, بإذن الله. We're going to carry on next lesson inshallah ta'ala. بارك الله فيك وجزاكم الله خيرا.